The first step in becoming a successful entrepreneur is not an action, or it's not a strategy, or it's not even confidence. The first step to becoming an entrepreneur is actually making a decision to become an entrepreneur. Think of it like you're standing on the sideline of a basketball game, and you've seen me playing basketball, and they look like they're having so much fun, and you're like, I want to go score some points. And you've been thinking about playing basketball, and you're on the sideline, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go play basketball. And then the person you're about to sub in for just got elbowed in the face and got his nose broken. And so then you're on the sideline trying to analyze whether you want to get in the game or not. So regardless or not of your confidence level or anything at all, there's no way you're ever going to score a goal until you get in the game. Your options are stick with your W-2 income and smile, or do something more. And unfortunately, that entrepreneur bug ain't going away. Welcome to Transform with Jason Drees. Don't forget to join me every Monday at 10 a.m. Central for a free mindset alignment. Go to MondayMindsetReset.com. On today's episode, got an amazing human being. Jerremy Ditlove is with me. He is from the Boise area. He's a firefighter, saving lives. You know, I actually wanted to be a firefighter when I was a kid. That's when I was going to be a firefighter. I never said I was going to be a coach, but that was my thing. But anyway, Jeremy's 46. He's married. He's got 3 kids. We're talking today about becoming a full-time entrepreneur and that journey. Welcome, Jerremy. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you.
So how can I help you on this call, on this coaching call today? I know we've talked about, you had said something about help identifying if I want to sacrifice to become a business owner. I know you've been talked about thinking about coaching a little bit too. So like, tell me where you're at and where you're going and what's in your way and what your thoughts are. And let's see if I can help.
Sure. Like you mentioned, I've been in the fire service for 20 years now. And for the last 3 or 4, I've wanted to seek some income outside of my W-2, maybe free up some time to be with my family more, and free up some money to be able to travel more and, you know, show my kids the world before they don't want to hang out with me. So I've run into, it's been a difficult road. I've made some poor investments along the way, which have cost me some money. And I think that, coupled with just my own fear and taking certain risks, has led me to kind of stop moving forward.
Okay. So thank you for sharing your situation. So what specific, like, can you maybe pose it to me as a question and we'll kind of go from there? Like, where are you kind of stuck?
I would like help developing the confidence that will allow me to seek some entrepreneurial income.
Do you already have any W-2 income on the side, or is this a new thing for you?
I have no income on the side. I've made some investments, one of which hopefully will work out, and the other one is probably not going to work out. And I've been seeking a partnership with a buddy of mine, and we're sort of looking at acquiring a business. So, but that's fairly new, and
you want to become an entrepreneur, but you don't want to lose money, but you want more free time. Is that yes. Correct?
That sounds accurate.
And you said, and I heard you say earlier, can you help me create the confidence to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think I've got a ton of self-doubt. So yeah, I would love to overcome the self-doubt I have.
Let's get clear on what the doubt is, right? So number one, let's notice you're doing something you haven't done before. So we're in the unknown, right? And I'm just going to take a wild guess and say your parents were probably not entrepreneurs either.
100% correct. Well, I take that back. My father was an entrepreneur, but he left my mom and my sister and I when I was young. And my mom was a school teacher and hated every second of it.
Okay. Interesting. Did you ever see him after that?
Handful of times.
Okay. So let's just say you don't have some positive references about becoming an entrepreneur.
I think that's pretty accurate.
So whether they're negative or neutral, they're not positive. And this is pretty much the same for everybody. Like the majority of the people that I coach are either entrepreneurs or they want to be an entrepreneur. And the vast majority of them do not come from a family of entrepreneurs. So let's also notice that you're taking, you've mastered being a firefighter in the fire service, 20 years, 2 decades of service. You probably are also around some other firefighters who have businesses and incomes on the side, I'm guessing, right? And
some, yeah.
And just because you haven't done it doesn't mean you can't. But it's also, we made an investment and it didn't work. That's also not fun either. So the thing we need to also look at is that the first step in becoming a successful entrepreneur is not an action, or it's not a strategy, or it's not even confidence, right? Because what I'm sensing is like you're trying to take an action towards this target and you're not able to execute as consistently or as effectively because you're feeling emotional doubt. Is that correct?
Right, 100%.
So now the first thing is that the first step to becoming an entrepreneur is actually making a decision to become an entrepreneur. So let me ask you, Jerremy, have you decided 100% to become an entrepreneur?
I would love to say yes, and I don't know if I believe myself.
Okay, now this is perfectly normal. Like where you are is fine. Like this is the process. This is the process of getting into alignment, is talking about where the misalignment is. Okay. I've been in your shoes. I understand it. And that's why I've seen it so many times, because everybody is like this when you're doing something new, like shifting your career after 2 decades is a big deal. Like becoming an entrepreneur on the side is a lot. It is, right? But it doesn't mean you can't do it. The first step though is a decision. Think of it like you're standing on the sideline of a basketball game, and you've seen me playing basketball and they look like they're having so much fun, and you're like, I want to go score some points. And you've been thinking about playing basketball, and you're on the sideline. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to go play basketball. And then the person you're about to sub in for just got elbowed in the face and got his nose broken. And so then you're on the sideline trying to analyze whether you want to get in the game or not. That's why one of the foundational pieces and pretty much all of my content is what I call getting in the game. So regardless or not of your confidence level or anything at all, there's no way you're ever going to score a goal until you get in the game. Now, making a decision to get in the game doesn't mean I'm making a decision to waste money or make bad decisions. It just puts you in the playing field where now the game is real, I'm in. And the thing about making the decision to get into the game is the second you remove the option of not getting into the game, all of the stress about getting into the game goes away. Okay. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And I guess I'm sure you're going to follow up with an answer here, but how do you remove the possibility of not getting into the game?
It's nice. It's great. Like you just remove the option. You remove the option. So like the option of being a deadbeat dad is not even an option for you, right? The option for not being there for your kids is not even an option for you. Not at all. And I've spoken to you for about 30 minutes, and I can tell, because I can tell the type of man you are, and I can tell the type. That's why I can assume energetically the type of husband you are and the type of father you are. This is not even an option. It's another decision. Because your options are stick with your W-2 income and smile, or do something more. And unfortunately, that entrepreneur bug ain't going away.
Just for clarification, the suggestion is not to quit my W-2, so I've foundationally have no income and forced to seek my entrepreneurial dreams.
I'm sorry, you cut out there. You said was no income. What? Quit your job?
I guess my confusion then is when you say remove the option of not being an entrepreneur. Your encouragement is not necessarily to quit my W-2 before I've found out how to move forward. Okay.
No. You're like 10 steps ahead of me. I'm talking about getting on the playing field.
Okay. Fair enough.
And your brain is firing off all of the what ifs you're trying to solve. And that's perfectly normal. But it's not the time for that yet. Being an entrepreneur could be, hey, I'm going to go on eBay and sell stuff once a month and make $50 at garage sales, right? Like it's really the decision. Yeah, I'm going to pursue an additional form of income. We can set ourselves up for success in the same way. I'm going to do everything in my power to make myself to not lose money. And I'm going to do everything in my power to not put myself in a situation that's worse than I am now. Right?
Okay.
But I'm still getting in the game. Now, you may say, okay, well, as an entrepreneur, I may have to suck it up and work weekends for a while. But I'll have a conversation with my wife about that. And as we're investing, and, that may be a short-term sacrifice. But those are all pieces we're not even there to. The first step is like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That's the first question. Because you're trying to solve the entire puzzle right now, and you can't. You can't solve it all yet.
I feel that. I feel that overwhelming burden of having to figure out how this whole journey ends before I've even started.
Yes, because you're a detail-oriented individual and you like structure and systems. And where you're going, there is no systems. And if you've been spinning in circles at all, which I haven't asked you, which I wouldn't be surprised if you are, is because you're not 100% in the game, nothing you're doing is going to work. So you've kind of thought your way into like the catch-22. So the first step is getting in the game. So would you like me to help you get in the game?
100%.
Okay, so try this out loud. Repeat after me. I take full ownership of my life and everything in it.
I take full ownership of my life and everything in it.
I am going to become an entrepreneur.
I'm going to become an entrepreneur.
And make a side income. To create more free time with my family.
So
I can show my kids the world. Even if I don't know how to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. I hereby remove the option of not doing it. Because I'm not going to stop until I do. How's that feel?
It's scary, man, but I feel lighter.
So let's just sit with the feelings. Don't avoid them. Breathe. I'm sure there were part of becoming a firefighter was also scary.
Yeah, I think
I remember training 20 years ago.
I think I was too young to be scared.
Okay. So what's coming up right now? Like where are you at now?
I'm feeling some excitement. Still a ton of questions. But I'm all in, man.
Good. So you're still probably noticing the shift, because that was a frame shift. That statement moved you into an aligned frame. Now, even though that frame was non-specific, it was still an aligned frame. Because think of it like that was a macro frame, right? The macro frame is like your overall success. Yes, I'm getting in the game. Yes, I'm going to be successful. How do I know that? Because I'm not going to stop until I do. Now, at the micro level, what am I doing the next 10 steps? I don't know. But at the same time, even though I don't know what the exact next 10 steps are, I'm going to be successful because I'm holding that alignment at a macro level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Because, and then that's why you're feeling lighter, and that's why your confidence is going up, and that's why the doubt's going down, is because that is a frame of alignment. And when you move in, that a frame of alignment is a higher frequency frame than a misaligned frame. So the way to become an entrepreneur, the shortest, fastest way is to be in alignment with becoming an entrepreneur. That's the number one way. What is alignment? Alignment is you are 100% certain you can hit the target. Now, prior to this call, if I asked you how certain are you could become an entrepreneur, you may have been 30%, 80%, somewhere in the middle. I don't know, depending on the day. Yeah. The thing you want to understand is that as you're pointing your ship in this new direction, you're aligned right now. In this moment, there's alignment. When we hang up this phone, this call, we end this call, you're going to start thinking and taking different actions. You're going to get out of alignment again because that's the process. Because what's going to happen is the next thing that kick you out of alignment is the next contradiction you need to resolve. Because the lack of alignment isn't because you're not in alignment. The lack of alignment is from contradictions to alignment that reside in your mind.
So is the contradiction as a result of me taking a step and finding challenge or difficulty, or is it? Can you explain that more?
Well, yeah, no, it's whatever the next trigger is, right? The thing that causes the doubt or the anger or the frustration or the fear, whatever it is. Okay. It's basically a reference point in your mind from the past that's not in alignment with us. Now, you can see those as fears and signs of gloom and doom, or you can see those simply as the indicators of growth, because basically life is saying, all right, Jeremy's going to become an entrepreneur now, and you start taking action. Okay, well, for you to be an entrepreneur, you got to deal with this because that doesn't reside with being an entrepreneur. So you got to integrate this. Then you got to integrate this. That's why I created alignment coaching, to help keep you in alignment through this journey. That's the process. Because if you can stay aimed at the target the entire time, your time to hitting it is going to radically shorten.
Okay. Makes sense. No, I hear what you're saying, man. And I've listened to enough podcasts and successful people discuss the merits of coaching. And I think the cynic in me is fighting pretty hard.
And that's the person you need to conquer to be a successful entrepreneur. Because that cynic is also your ego, which is trying to protect you. But is also a part of you, not you. We've all got a part that is making us be where we are today. And most of that cynic reference points are patterns of thought and behavior that you were around. It could be you could have been just naturally been that way. It could have been a life experience that created that pattern for you. Or it could be a chosen one, either one, right? But that pattern, which you're calling a cynic, has been a tool that has made you successful over the past 20 years. Now that pattern is a liability. And that's the way growth happens. We get to a point where our current thought patterns, our patterns of thought, our patterns of emotion no longer serve us. They used to be an asset before, but now they're a handicap. And that's why we grow. And the thing you also need to understand is that your personal growth journey, your journey of personal growth, when we look at our personal growth journey, you may think it's over here, and then my success journey is over here in two different places. That's actually not the case anymore. Your personal growth journey and your success journey are now one. Mm-hmm. So the reason this is challenging you so much is because wrapped into this goal of becoming an entrepreneur, you're also going through the personal growth process of life right now. That's why it feels like there's so much. When you learn how to get, it does feel like a lot. I get it. And I know because I'm going through a lot right now as well in my life. But the thing is, like, that growth is your path. If you don't face it, eventually it's going to turn into pain. If you have like, cause I can tell you, even though you're 46, you're a few years younger than me, your growth journey is nowhere being done. Do you actually feel like you're close to 50? Like, don't you feel like you're 30 these days? Like it's different now, right?
Oh, 100%, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel
You're
like
like, I'm going to live to be 140, right? Like we feel like we're so different these days. So your growth journey is never ending. And this part of your growth journey, you've resonated with me. And that's why you're talking to me. And what I do is I help people change very, very fast. Nobody can shift mindset faster than I can because I'm operating at the level above mindset, which is frame. Now you still have all of the emotions of the process itself. So you're going to go through those emotions, but the best advice I can give you, if you were to ask me for advice, is to not fear the process and how it feels. That, what do I call it? The
I resonate with the for sure.
Like I talk to people, I'm like, and I'll be in front of it. I'll talk to a group and I'll say, who wants to 10x their income this year? And they all raise their hands. And I say, who wants 10x more free time? They all raise their hands. And I said, who wants 10x more emails? And all the hands go down. It's like, well, you said you wanted 10x, right? Like it's 10x is not cold showers and 4 a.m., burpees. It's through the because the version of you that's the successful entrepreneur is a different version of you. That version of you is operating in a different frequency. And right now you're in the path of becoming that version and you're doing it in slow motion. Why? I don't know why. You and me, we must have been fucking nuts because we decided to come play in these bodies right now in this slow motion process of awakening. This is what it's going through. Like, it's like personal growth in slow motion. That's what we're going through. So you're on the right path. You can lean into it more. The more you lean into it, the faster you'll get through these uncomfortable emotions. If you're working with a coach on my team, the process will be shortened exponentially. Other coaches can help too, but our process is the fastest.
Something you said really, because I don't know, man. I'm having
the uncomfortable.
No, where you said my personal growth and my entrepreneurial path are like one and the same. Yeah. That's hitting home pretty hard.
So the way to move faster through this is to learn to integrate the growth faster. And the way to integrate the growth faster is to not avoid the growth. So when it doesn't feel good, sit in it. Look at it. This doesn't feel good. Oh, it's just a different feeling. Okay. That's what this feels like. Think of it like, well, it's Saturday and we're going to go see that concert. Looking forward to it. Oh, it's raining. It's outdoors. Well, they're still going to go anyway. So we'll just go have a rainy concert. You'll still go. Just like that. Like, while we'd always wish the days are sunny, some are rainy. And while we always wish like we felt amazing, sometimes it's harder. So when we have less detachment on how we're supposed to feel, we can move through those emotions much faster. But emotional mastery is not something that men like us have been taught to do. So that's what you're doing, learning right now, getting in touch with your emotions, learning about these and processing through this. Because your emotions are your indicators of alignment.
Man, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, sitting in the discomfort. Physically, it's easy to do, but I guess emotionally, I avoid that. I don't think I recognized that until just now.
Everybody does that. They do, right? They do. Yeah. It's a pattern, right? Like I was journaling the other day and I realized that the emotion of happiness is no better than the emotion of sadness. It's not. They're just different emotions. But what actually happens is we often end up in patterns of thought where we judge our emotions because we don't like how some feel.
Oh, man. That's so true.
So what would happen if how you felt in this process didn't actually matter so much.
Man, I feel like I get a whole lot more done for sure.
Yeah. And look how fast you just shifted right there. Like you can shift faster than this. That's one other thing I've learned lately is that none of us are really even getting close to our potential and our ability to transform right now, because this new frequency of reality we're living is so new to us. We don't realize how fast we can change.
Man, I recognize and I feel the change now, and I'm, you already mentioned it earlier in the conversation. What happens 10 minutes from now, or a day from now, or 2 days from now? I want to retain the memory of this as opposed to losing it into the ether.
So let's notice that pattern of thought came from a past reference frame where you had something important you wanted to learn that you didn't remember. And therefore you thought you need to do something to keep this. Instead of that frame, let's just put ourselves in a frame of, I can't unknow what I already know. And there's no limit to how fast I can change. Because those are frames too.
Awesome.
So the faster you can change frames, the better because your entire perception of reality is based on frames. You got a frames about becoming an entrepreneur. You got a frame about what it's like to become an entrepreneur. You got a frame about, am I going to be successful? You got a frame about needing to know the process. Those are all frames. So the more you align those, the more you're automatically aligned with the target. That's where we're going.
Dude. Awesome.
All right, man. So you good, Jerremy?
I'm good, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time today.
Awesome. It was great to have this conversation. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon, Jerremy.
Okay. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching. This is Jason Drees with Transform with Jason Drees. To get your own experience of alignment coaching, go to freeintrosession.com to sign up. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.